Designed for one purpose and one alone. Furnace aims to do his master's bidding by cooking through the flesh of Mobians, but most specifically, Sonic the Hedgehog. A reality repeated over and over again. This powerful engine is designed to provide a monster his meal for eternity. I have made a video on both Starved and Furnace in the past. However, I focused on their legacy counterparts made from the FNF games. This version of Starved and Furnace is a bit different, being referred to as Modern Starved and is owned by Romeo. It's a retake of the original story, with a few tweaks to the design of Furnace and Starved, along with having a different story, but similar events. It's also most likely going to stray away from the Friday Night Funkin' like the original was made for. However, it will be featured in a game called Outcome Memories on Roblox. This does not mean that his lore will fall solely through that. There will be other mediums to get that, but he just will be primarily featured on that. Though I wanted to make this video because the retake and its lore was pretty interesting to me, and it has a terrifying concept. So, with that said, how is this different from the original Starved story? What will he be like in Outcome Memory? And what are his motives? In this video, we're going to explain these questions and more, and I'll explain just why this Eggman creation may just be the most horrifying one yet. Keep in mind, I am going off of what is currently available, and if a lot more is added or changed, I'll do a sequel. That being said, the creation of Furnace dates back to when Eggman became what is known as Starved. It is currently unknown how he becomes this way, as that will likely be revealed later. In the original lore, Eggman just gets a taste of a flicky and goes insane, pretty much having a want for Mobian flesh. Personally, I thought this origin was pretty dumb, and I think that was the point. Thinking back on it, I'm not exactly sure Starved was even meant to be scary, or if he was meant to be a shitpost. It said that events would be similar, but not the same, and would make more sense. Regardless, this particular version is taking itself seriously, so I'm willing to bet the way Eggman becomes Starved is a little more complex, or at the very least, fitting to his character. Romeo has stated that they wanted to make a comic on the character telling the origin of Starved, and quite frankly, I'd love to see it, though nothing is set in stone. Let's just stick to what he's answered for now. Eggman becoming this being of gluttony in this world is horrifying, as I've said before, because he now has one objective. A genius with the focus to achieve one thing, and it's no longer to stop Sonic. It's to devour him physically. Now, what's interesting about this is like a side thing, I've said it in my old Starved video, but he doesn't actually want to eat humans. He's more focused on Mobians. Whereas Metal Sonic was crafted to be a better version of Sonic, that was the general idea, and obviously he's not better than Sonic. Metal Sonic is powerful, but he lacked the designs that Eggman now wanted. He needed something more lethal, and there would be a few prototypes that we don't see. This would all build up to the Furnace we know today, with the ability to create heat as hot as 2,800 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 1,537 Celsius for my non-American viewers, and an IQ of 900. This monstrosity is the perfect candidate to do what his master desires, and has no other purpose. Furnace only gets stronger with time, and it's hinted that his story goes beyond that of Sonic CD. This take is unique because Furnace is a continuous threat to Sonic's friends, or well, it would normally be his friends, but he never technically met them except for Amy's, and she's dead. You guys know what I mean. And has answers to questions we didn't have before in terms of powers and actions. I really like this because Eggman is still the same as he always is. He just became a very hungry boy who likes to feast on Mobians. His objective before was to stop Sonic and friends with few victories, but his mind has twisted and he switched up objectives while Sonic is still young, meaning Sonic hasn't honed his abilities like he has in Frontiers, making this a very real outcome for the Blue Blur. You have to remember, Sonic at this point is very powerful, but he's also very full of himself, and Furnace is made with more lethal intentions and more brutal designs. He's an improved Metal Sonic long before Neo Metal Sonic, and two geniuses together can plot the downfall of the blue blur, and without the help of Sonic's friends, there's only so much that he can do. Like, I know I said two geniuses, and I know somebody's going to go down in the comments and say something about Sonic Generations. Okay, so this is different, all right? This is different. If you recall, Sonic doesn't have the help of Tails until a little later, never realizing his true potential. So when confronted with Ivo's newest invention, he isn't able to stop him. Amy, as well, was subject to fall to this twisted creation. I, again, like this idea because it could happen and is more likely than you might think. Tails, Knuckles, and some of the other Chaotix are left to fight off this invention. Now, I think if they work together, regardless of how powerful Furnace is, they might have a shot. Romeo has stated that the story does have a conclusion, and while it's likely Starved consumes all the Mobians, I would like to see a bittersweet ending. It would be cool to see Tails build a counter machine that goes toe-to-toe with Furnace. And there's like a back and forth between Starved and Furnace, like two geniuses kind of plotting a way to go around it. Or maybe give Knuckles like a mech suit to better fight off Furnace, or build countermeasures if he's able to. Now that's not confirmed, but I just think it was a cool idea. In the future, the story will show how Furnace only grows stronger with time, cooking and serving more meals for the Doctor to eat. When the Doctor isn't around, it's said he's a murdering machine and doesn't respect anyone. Just because he doesn't respect them doesn't mean he won't make allies. So it's said that he's incapable of really having friends, which, you know, makes sense. He's kind of a, I would say, cold machine, but he's very much not that. In terms of how powerful he is, Romeo has been asked a few different questions. I speculate that if Furnace killed Sonic, Eggman could take his DNA and build upon Furnace to make him better. I mean, I don't think that's the case, but it would make him more powerful. Though there are a few questions I was curious about, like its interactions with Metal Sonic and who would win in a fight. So Furnace would see Metal Sonic as inferior, and this would be highlighted when Furnace is added to outcome memories. Being a more improved version of Metal, it said he could beat him. However, that's only to a certain extent. If Metal Sonic went Neo, it would change the outcome, as Neo Metal Sonic is incredibly busted. I mean, just look at the guy in Outcome Memories. He makes X look like a coughing baby. Though, if he tried to go Overlord, it would take 10 years for the battle to actually start. So, modern Metal Sonic would give him a run for his money. Would win if he went Neo. Now that leads me to my next question. Can he beat modern Sonic? It's said by Romeo he can beat early versions of modern Sonic, but can't beat him as he is now. By Frontiers, Sonic has fought time gods and beings who could shatter reality. I think in that case, it's Furnace getting cooked. That doesn't make him any less horrifying though, as his win rate is pretty consistent. Oh, it's worth mentioning that despite how I worded some things to the video, Metal Sonic never existed in this universe. Furnace takes his place in this world. The story will push past Sonic, Tails being a major character because, you know, he's got to suffer in every Sonic story. Here are a few more fun facts about the character. Furnace cannot burn himself or get too hot to where he melts. I mean, he's a literal furnace, so I mean, it makes sense. Also, when a Mobian is done cooking, Starved has to open Furnace's stomach and reach in manually. Being a genius and all, having the concept of time figured out, you think he'd develop a system to make it easier and timed, but you know, maybe Eggman just likes the heat. Another fun fact is that Furnace would see other versions of himself as imposters and take them out even if Starved didn't want him to. So he does have a bit of, I would say, sentience to him, but he has a prime derogative. For my Outcome Memory fans out there, I do have a bit of fun stuff to share with you guys that I was able to find. It's still very early on, so things may be subject to change, but there were a few things about the dynamic duo and their moveset in the game I found interesting. It won't just be Starved or just Furnace as an executioner. It's going to involve both of them. Not only that, but it's said they're going to be a collaborative effort between you and your friend. So the person playing the executioner is able to pick who they want to play as, and then whoever they don't pick is who your friend plays as. This is a cool idea for the game, and I really hope it happens because this sounds like a lot of fun. I'm sure balancing for this would be hell, but I can only imagine the clips to come from this. Furnace will still have references to his FNF counterpart. Like supposedly a move where he picks up a survivor and slams them down into the ground like this.
Man, you really like scrambling your own plans, don't you?
Is it weird to say that I find this satisfying? I mean, I love Sonic the Hedgehog, alright? I wrote the book on loving Sonic, but him being slammed into the ground is just satisfying to look at. I can imagine a few different gameplay styles they could have. Furnace would be the more aggressive executioner, doing more damage, while Starved could be a sort of scout. It would be cool if Starved had a scanner that would detect people and you have to coordinate and talk to each other in order to be effective. So Starved could locate and Furnace could find them and destroy them. Or Starved can stun them and Furnace can blast towards them. I really like this co-op idea and I'm excited to see it. Starved is still a horrifying reality, though this time he's given a more in-depth story as opposed to his original FNF song Prey. Don't get me wrong, this was cool to see. Prey is still enjoyable. It may just be one of the most popular Sonic pastas technically, which I found to be really funny. It must have been so jarring for EXE fans and Sonic Pasta fans to see Starved on the news. It was also very jarring to see 2017 X be turned into this and then escape the EXE bubble and breach out into other fan bases and become freaky Sonic. I'm getting a little sidetracked here, but I just thought that was really funny. Like when EXEs and Sonic pastas leak out, unusual thing that happens. Him being so popular though, seeing him get put into this game along with getting a proper story is awesome. I'm really glad that there is attention going to Starved, as I do think that he is a horrifying concept and I hope that he's executed properly. So modern Starved and modern Furnace seem like they're taking a different direction. There was one thing I wanted to say about the time stones. I don't actually believe that the time stones are acquired by Eggman right away. Starved is either he doesn't go back in time and repeat the same thing and kill Sonic. I do believe that he moves on past that. Though, don't quote me on that. I'm just pretty sure that this is where the story ends differently, because at Prey, in the FNF version, in his Legacy version, he's able to beat Sonic every single time, and there isn't really a good future. And the good future is a hypothetical. So in this world, good future just doesn't happen at all and wouldn't normally happen anyways. So this isn't like a continuous cycle. Also, I wanted to add that there are a few concepts for Furnace and his different outfits. And a few of my favorites are Sakuya, Oven, and the Mecha Furnace build. Sakuya and Oven just look really silly, and I love them. When more information is released on the modern story, I'll be talking about it. Unfortunately, that's as far as my research goes. This gives a basic idea as to what we're dealing with and what to be excited about. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Subscribe, and remember, stay freaky.